So you're leading a grassroots push to streamline local government by consolidating the city of Portland and Multnomah County. What sparked this idea? What problem here are you trying to solve?
Right. Fundamentally, the problem we're trying to solve is accountability. What we have right now is we have a system of government that has two separate governments that can point fingers at each other whenever something goes wrong.
So we've seen tensions before. 2 years ago, some city leaders even talked about pulling out of the county's homelessness partnership. This proposal, though, goes well beyond just homeless issues, the one you're proposing.
Right.
So in practical terms, what would one consolidated government, what would that look like?
That's the thing. So what this initiative does is it invokes a law. It was the 1971 City-County Act. And what this does is it studies consolidation. If we reach 21,963 signatures, which was 6% of the gubernatorial vote the last election cycle, then by statute, a 13-member commission is formed, and they, within 2 years, will be responsible for writing and putting to a vote a new city-county charter.
Okay. So right now, the city largely handles public safety, while the county oversees public health. And that split, has caused friction. For example, the county distributes tents as a health measure, while the city removes them as a public safety measure. How would one single government resolve those kinds of conflicts?
Right. I want to make clear, it's not about any individual or institution. This is a system that is kind of designed to fail. When you have one government that's in charge of the assets and another government that's in charge of running the services, and they have to coordinate, that's always going to create friction.
But if we have one form of government, we're still going to have people in that government wanting to, say, hand out tents to help public health, and then we're still going to have a side of that government that's going to need to protect public safety and remove those tents if there's public safety issues involved. So that friction isn't going to be eliminated with one form of government, correct?
So there are always times, even in consolidated governments, where you have people within agencies that have different ideas about how to proceed. What a single government allows is for the electorate to respond to that. They can say, I understand what my elected leaders did, and I think that they did a good job, or I think they didn't do a good job. I want to see somebody else have that job. But right now, it's unclear how the division of responsibilities are split between the mayor and the county chair and other elected leaders across those two bodies.
Okay. So the plan focuses on Portland and Multnomah County. What about other cities in the county and rural unincorporated areas?
Right. The statute is actually very clear on this. It's a very democratic law. So what happens after the Charter Commission drafts its city-county charter, it goes to a vote within every jurisdiction.
So critics worry that consolidation could dilute local voices or reduce representation. How would you address those concerns?
So ultimately, this initiative is to study consolidation, and it's up to the 13-member Charter Commission to come up with something that is responsive to the needs of the region.
Okay, so I'll just say that Matt has 180 days to collect nearly 22,000 signatures, and other cities have done this, Philadelphia, Nashville, San Francisco, just to name a few. But watching that, hearing that, what's your takeaway?
Well, as somebody who grew up in Philadelphia, I see it very differently because it was one city in one county. There weren't multiple cities involved in the same way that we have here. And so a similar question that you raised of what happens to the other cities is one that I have. We do a lot of work in East Multnomah County that is transportation. The sheriff is generally contracted to be law enforcement for multiple of those jurisdictions. And so there's a lot of unanswered questions for me about what happens there. But I think I'd come back to some of what I was talking about earlier. We do have really clear roles and responsibilities, and I think that's gotten muddied because we've been stuck in this same IGA conversation about homeless services instead of really saying these roles are actually different and the responsibilities are different, and both entities can be held accountable to what their roles are.
Do you see these same issues with other cities within Multnomah County, or is it primarily an issue with Portland and Multnomah County?
We don't have the same type of relationship with the other cities, and I think that's part of the problem. I really want to make sure that every city within Multnomah County has access and equitable access to homeless services, and I want to make sure that they have those relationships and partnerships just like we do with the city of Portland. And then additionally, again, coming back to that other side, how are we supporting the affordable housing development, and so that we can get folks moved back out of homeless services and into their community. Not everybody who accesses homeless services at Multnomah County is from or lives in Portland, and so we need to have those same relationships throughout the county.
Okay. Commissioner Singleton, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Blair.
Appreciate it. All right, well, now it's your turn to weigh in. What do you think about Commissioner Singleton's proposal when it comes to the city-county agreement? How about the idea to merge the two governments? Let us know. Email the story at kgw.com or call and leave us a voicemail, 503-226-5090.